Hello everyone and welcome to today's online class for class 11. Variable valencies can be shown by sulfur also. Let's see how sulfur shows variable valency. The ground state electron configuration for sulfur is 3s, 3p, 3d. Now ground state electronic configuration for sulfur is 3s2, 3p4. Now this is the ground state electronic configuration. If sulfur form a covalent compound with only two unpaired electrons present in its ground state, in that case the valency of sulfur, the covalency of sulfur that sulfur will be produced in that particular compound is 2, as two unpaired electrons are present in the valence shell in its ground state. Now sulfur also shows tetravalency. This tetravalency of sulfur is produced by the first this tetravalency is produced in the first excited state of sulfur, in which one electron from this 3p from this paired from the electron pair in this 3p orbital jumps into this 3d orbital, and as a result 3 unpaired electron is created and remained in the 3p orbital. 1 unpaired electron is formed, one unpaired electron is in the 3d orbital. As a total 4 unpaired electron is present, and these 4 unpaired electrons then take part in the bond formation as a tetravalency. Now sulfur shows another valency, hexavalency. In the next excited state, the one electron from the paired electron present in the 3s orbital jumps into the another 3d orbital, and therefore 1 electron remained in the 3ds and 3 unpaired electron in the 3p and 2 unpaired electron in the 3d. As a total 6 unpaired electron is formed, and these 6 unpaired electrons then participate in the covalent bond formation, and as a result hexavalency can be shown by sulfur. Therefore sulfur, depending on if it is participating with its ground state, or whether participating with its first excited state, or whether it is participating in covalent bond formation with the second excited state, depending on which excited state or ground state the sulfur is actually take part in the bond formation, it can show divalency, tetravalency or hexavalency. Iodine also shows variable valencies. Now the ground state electronic configuration for iodine is 5s2 5p 5. So one electron is unpaired in the ground state. If iodine participate in the covalent bond formation with the ground state electronic configuration, in that case it can only form one covalent bond with its one unpaired electron. As a result, in that particular compound, iodine will have a monovalency. But iodine shows variable valencies also. In the first excited state, the electronic configuration for iodine is 5s2, 5p4 and 3d1. One electron from the electron pair, one of the electron pair present in the 5p orbital jumped onto the 5d orbital and the electronic configuration 5d1 and 5p4. As a result of this rearrangement of electrons in the valence shell, now 3 electrons are unpaired in the valence shell of the iodine. As a result, when iodine take part in covalent bond formation with these 3 unpaired electron, it forms it shows trivalency. Now there is another valency that is shown by iodine, that is pentavalency. In the next excited state, the remaining electron pair in the 5p orbital, the one electron from this remaining pair in the 5p orbital jumps into the 5d orbital with which makes 5 unpaired electron in the valence shell in the form of 5s2, 5p3 and 5d2. If iodine take part in covalent bond formation with this 5 unpaired electron, then in that particular covalent compound, iodine will show pentavalency. Therefore, depending on at which electronic configuration or rearranged or ground state electronic configuration iodine take part in the covalent bond formation, iodine shows monovalency, trivalency and pentavalency. Or the octet rule can explain the formation of many compounds, but there are some deviation that some compounds shows in the octet rule. Like in these in the following compounds that we are going to discuss, there are some deviation. The first two compounds that we are going to study now shows incomplete octet. The first one that we are going to study is beryllium chloride, BeCl2, beryllium chloride. Now the Lewis dot structure for beryllium chloride is Be. In the valence shell, 2 electron is present and it is joined by 2 chlorine atom. Each one have 7 electron in its valence shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and the 7. This chlorine also has 7 electron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So each chlorine is sharing one electron of its own with one of the electron coming from the beryllium and creating a pair, electron pair, and this electron pair is shared both the beryllium and the individual chlorine. As a result of this, beryllium chloride compound is being formed. Now, this is the formation of beryllium chloride according to the Lewis-Dot structure, following the should have followed the octet rule, because the Lewis-Dot structure is based on the octet rule formation. Octet or doublet rule formation. Now let's count the electrons in their valence shell after the compound formation. For chlorine it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So octet rule is filled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For this chlorine also the octet rule is fulfilled. But for beryllium, the central atom of this compound is having 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 atom in its valence shell, even after the formation of this covalent compound of beryllium chloride. Thus, in this compound, the central atom beryllium is actually violating the octet rule, that it do not possess 8 electron in its valence shell after this compound formation, yet this compound is quite stable on its own. Let's look at another example. The next example that we are going to study is boron fluoride, BF3. Now, boron contains 3 electrons in its valence shell, and each of these 3 electrons, and there are 3 fluorine atoms present. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with 7 electrons in its valence shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fluorine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So each fluorine contains 7 electrons in its valence shell, and 1 electron from the chlorine is pairing up with one of the electron coming from boron, and both the electron pairs are shared by both fluorine and the boron. As a result, this is the Lewis-Dot structure of the boron fluoride that is being formed. In this Lewis-Dot structure, each fluorine is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 compounds in its valence shell after the formation of this compound. But boron, the central atom, is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 electrons in its valence shell even after the bond formation. That is, the octet is incomplete in the in this compound. Octet is incomplete for the central atom in this compound also. So these two compounds are quite stable, yet the central atom do possess incomplete octet, which violate octet rule.